We can only change something that we are aware of. Otherwise, you're just sleepwalking. The biggest key to transformation is having awareness. Because if you're not aware of what is going on, then you have no ability to change anything. Welcome back to One's Journey of Unwinding the Mind, and of course, your daily microdose. Now tune in to the latest episode of One's Journey. Today, I want to talk about journaling. Yes, journaling. And many of you are probably like, I freaking hate journaling. It's a pain in the butt. It's a waste of time. And I see you. I understand, and I have been there. But I'm going to give you a but. Journaling can bring some of the deepest awareness you will ever find. And first of all, I want to say, when I talk about journaling, I've done different types of journaling along my life. Very intentional journaling, all the way to free journaling. So when we talk about journaling is an opportunity to get what's in your mind out on a piece of paper, out on a video, wherever. So I'm not saying that journaling just needs to be pen to paper, but I will say of all the options, pen to paper is the most therapeutic. It's something to do with the mind-body activation. And I don't know, I'm sure there's some research about it. But ultimately, I have found that it can be the most impactful. But I've also found that videos to yourself, speaking to yourself, also are immensely impactful. Let's talk about, why is journaling so impactful? Well, it brings awareness. And what do I always say? The biggest key to transformation is having awareness. Because if you're not aware of what is going on, then you have no ability to change anything. So journaling is you bringing to the light and acknowledging those thoughts that are in your mind and putting them on a piece of paper, on a video, and externalizing them. And when you do that, I often tell my clients that it's realizing that it was a mouse under that bed, not a monster. So I bring that example up because think of the child who is freaking out because they believe there's a monster under their bed, and then their parents turn on the light and they flash it, and it was just a mouse. That is how strong the mind and then the brain's decoding system can be in creating problems that aren't really ever problems, or creating bigger stories that aren't really true for today. So a lot of times in the work I do with my clients, the stuff from our childhood comes up, and we realize that we're actually still living by that narrative today, but that narrative no longer serves us. And if you weren't to have journaled that out on a piece of paper or a video or whatever technique you find, you would have never had that awareness, and you would have continued to operate from whatever place that was, until you brought it forward and you looked at it and you're like, oh crap. So when I was a kid, I was told that there wasn't enough food in the house. So anytime I had the opportunity, I ate. And now today I'm 55 years old and I binge eat all the time. Why? Well, you journal out what the feelings are you're having, and you have this aha moment of, oh my gosh, it's because when we were a child, we were told there wasn't enough food. And my brain is still operating that there's not enough food from a place of scarcity, when in fact today there is. But I'm still functioning in that manner. So it's that flashlight. I always talk about flashlight words. This is a flashlight exercise. The more you journal, the more aware you become. And essentially, it's the same thing as telling someone else. It makes it real. And I do real quotes, right? Because nothing is real, true reality within this illusion. But it makes it real. What we had in our mind was so abstract. And when something is so abstract, it tends to become much larger than it actually ever was. So journaling, as much as it feels like this massive task and weight and piece to be a part of, is hugely impactful to bringing your awareness to the narratives operating in your mind. And coaching is huge for that too, because you're externalizing that out to another person, but we don't always have that ability. And even in between coaching sessions, it is helpful for us to continue to process what is going on in that, whatever you want to call it, the monkey mind, the ego, the natural man. There's so many different names for it, but essentially we call it the ego. It helps us to see where the ego is showing up in our belief system and allows us to choose different. So there's tons of different ways you can journal. I will tell you, sometimes there's things we need to intentionally go unpack. So something may come up and we want to know an even deeper understanding. And if that is the case and you have a specific scenario, say, why am I binge eating? There's 7 whys deep. I think it's in Atomic Habits or somewhere, whatever. Going 7 whys deep at minimum. So what does that mean, Ashley? That means, why do I binge eat? Respond to that. Whatever your response is, then ask it why there. And then ask it why, and then ask it why in every response. And what that does is it clears through the layers of BS and gets to the real reason of why you are doing something. And again, if you didn't take the time to intentionally journal about that and unpack it, you would have only been aware of the surface level reason, which, let's be honest, surface level isn't going to get us out of the stream, isn't going to get us to that next level that we want to get of peace and happiness within. We must go deep in order to uncover those narratives that are truly running our life. But what I have also found to be one of the most impactful journaling exercises is free journaling. So free journaling is essentially what it sounds like. You take your pen to your paper, and I usually say 5 minutes at minimum, and you don't let that pen come off that paper, and you just write. And you write with no judgment, right? That's another piece with journaling, that we need to enter that space free of judgment. It is our opportunity to get out what is inside our mind so that it stops controlling us while it's in there. Because that's what happens. These narratives are controlling you because you aren't bringing that awareness and bringing them to the forefront. Again, we can only change something that we are aware of. Otherwise, you're just sleepwalking. So for 5 minutes, you just let it all come out. No judgment, no overthinking it, just right. And sometimes people are like, well, Ashley, I can't even start that. Like, I don't know what to write. I don't care. Start writing that the sky is blue. I'm staring at a green dinosaur right now. Whatever it is, because what you're doing is you're giving permission. We have been taught to never give ourselves permission to bring awareness, so we have to reteach ourselves that we have that permission to bring awareness. Journaling, as much as it sucks, and I was completely against journaling until I started to do it and realized how impactful it is. And sometimes I journal pen to paper. Sometimes I'll type up a note in my phone. And sometimes I'll do a video to future or past Ashley. And the cool thing is that there's no necessity to ever go back and read those journals. To me, there is no necessity. Is it fun sometimes? Yeah, to go see where you came from. But in the process of putting it to paper or into a video, you have already processed it. You have already brought that awareness that was necessary. And sometimes when we go back and reread, that is a sign that you're not ready to move on. And that's okay too, but pay attention. So my recommendation or my actual invitation to you is to start journaling 5 minutes a day, free journaling, especially in this process, whether it's pen to paper or just a video, whatever, I don't care. Just get out what's in your mind because, again, it will run your life in ways you have no clue if you do not get it out of your mind into the front so that it can process through and no longer be this abstract idea, but instead a something that is now real, right? We're doing a quote real, that you can address, that you can choose different. Many of you are probably like, hate this video, Ashley. I hate journaling. And again, I see you. I understand. I've been there. But just take the invitation. Just do it for a week. 1 week and see what happens. 5 minutes a day. And again, I don't care what form you do it in, but just 5 minutes of intentionally releasing what's in your mind. And share with us what came up. Was it a complete waste of time, or did you actually have some new understanding that you didn't have before? Because I bet it's the latter, but you could prove me wrong. Thank you so much for tuning in today. Please share. Did you do this journaling exercise? Was it helpful? Was it not helpful? Remember, we're in this journey together, and the more we share about our journey, the more we help others and help ourselves, because sharing with others is sharing with ourselves. As always, I love you tons. I am so grateful for you. And until next time, remember you're worth it.